Pet Trustee sponsors, let's talk about animals.
And today we have a wonderful show lined up for you. In fact, she has been so committed to animal rescue. It's really an honor to know you. Sony Shotland.
Thank you very much.
Now, Sony, you are currently the Vice President, I believe.
Executive Vice President.
Yes, and you wanted to tell us the name of the...
Yes, it's called the Southampton Animal Shelter Foundation.
Okay, and it used to be called?
Well, it was the Southampton Pound, you know, the Southampton Animal Shelter,
right,
which was owned by or run by the town.
Okay.
You know, and then it became privatized and became a foundation.
And now it is a no-kill.
Yes, but you have to understand on the no-kill what it means. A lot of people are very confused with that. No-kill means that you never kill for lack of space or because an animal has been there too long.
Okay.
But no-kill still will euthanize an animal that's extremely aggressive or extremely ill and cannot be cured.
And dangerous.
Or dangerous or very ill, yes. Yeah. But that still is considered no-kill.
Now, you have been in the rescue business for many years, I believe 36 years?
36 years, yeah.
And you are the founder, one of the co-founders?
Co-founder of the Animal Rescue Fund, yes, which is just around the corner from here.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now, I know you told me that there were two other founders.
Yes, Dorothy Wall, and she now lives in Florida.
Okay.
And she's not retired yet. She was the youngest of the three, and she's working in Florida, and she lives there. And then Barbara Posner, who's retired and, you know, lives in Southampton. But luckily, everybody's still alive.
That's wonderful. It really is. Now, most people are curious, after putting 36 years of your life and love and seeing, really, ARF is almost like a dynasty out here. It's like, it's grown so big and they own property and everything. How could you just walk away from something you did every day almost of your life for 36 years?
But you know, whether I'm there or not there, they're set and they exist and, you know, everything is okay, and I wish them certainly all the best. But the other place was really in need of help because what had happened is the town of Southampton had started an advisory committee on animal affairs several years ago, and I served on that. They had asked me to serve, and I was quite honored, and that was nice. And several other people served on it too. And then all of a sudden, with the budget crunch, they decided that the shelter would have to be closed and that they would only have animal control, which means the men would go out on the road for a stray or something. But then once the stray is brought in and it stays 10 days and it doesn't get reclaimed, what happens, you know?
Right.
And it used to be a big problem 40 years ago, and we worked and worked and worked to get it with so much progress, and then to suddenly go backwards was a big problem. And the person that decided she would privatize it asked me to really join. She really wanted me because of my past experience in shelter, you know, work. So I decided that this is where I was needed.
Well, would you consider that most of your work there was actually done in developing friends and networking and bringing people to support the rescues?
You mean in ARF?
Well, both, now too.
Well, now it's only the beginning. In ARF, definitely. Oh my God, I helped raise lots of money, and all my friends were impressed by my compassion, so they... Unfortunately, a lot of them that were elderly passed away, and they all left off in their wills, and you know, so I feel that that was very productive, and I did a lot of things there. But of course, now with SASF, it's all new, and we're starting. We had a wonderful couple of benefits. We had something at the Bordy Barn in September. And then July 24th,
I heard that was like awesome. You had like 700 or 800 people.
No, 700. Almost 700 people came. Yeah. And then in July, we had this very elegant benefit at someone's oceanfront home, and that was called Unconditional Love.
Aww.
And that was a wonderful benefit. So, you know, we try and do all the things we have to do, but there's a lot of work.
Well, what would be a typical day that you spend now?
Well, I don't spend every day there, obviously, you know, I mean, I'm volunteering.
Right.
But I do their newsletter, and that keeps me quite busy because we have about 3 a year, and I'm working on the new one now, so that's one of the things. And then, of course, like this past, on Sunday, 10 dogs arrived from Dalton, Georgia, that were rescued from a real kill shelter, you know, a high kill. And they were adorable. So I went there to help, and we took pictures and all that. And the week before, we had rescued some dogs from Colorado from the fires, because the lady that's the founder of SASF has a place in Colorado, and she was there just during the fires. And rescued some animals and brought them here.
Well, what happened to, I mean, the owners? I mean, because there were fires, what happened to the owners of those dogs?
I know, exactly. That's what she did. She worked with the local shelter there to take away animals that had no owners. So to make room for all the ones that were roaming around. You know, I had the same question immediately. I said, well, how can we take those dogs? I mean, someone is going to look for them, you know, if owners lost them. And she said, no, 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 that was the whole idea. They were besides themselves because they had no room for all those dogs coming in. So she took the ones that had already been there.
How long do you think it typically takes to place a dog once it comes into the shelter?
It's hard to say, you know, it's a matter of attraction. If it's a little schnauzer that's purebred and all that, of course it'll go a lot faster. Unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of pit bulls around. I don't know why there was that explosion of pit bulls. And some really do not deserve the bad reputation that they get. There are some that are so sweet. It's unbelievable. You know, but a lot of times, because of what people think, they have a bad rep, and it's sad.
You know, I'm one of those that's been typically very much afraid of pit bulls. But most of my friends, not most, but a lot of friends have pit bulls. And basically, it's the saying is, there's no such thing as a bad dog. It's only a bad owner.
Yeah, and basically you could train a shepherd or a Rottweiler, a Doberman, any of those dogs, you know, to be aggressive. But I would love to introduce you to Lexus. I'm totally in love with that dog. It's a pit bull, and you never met anything more lovable and sweeter.
Which one is it?
Lexus.
Lexus.
You have to, if you ever go to the shelter, ask for Lexus.
Nikki, do you smell another dog?
Nikki.
Okay. Well, dogs will be dogs. So bottom line, that reminds me of a story about a Doberman that was like next to us on a house that we had, and it was like over, and it was fenced in, and this Doberman, we had the most vicious barking sound, and it was like, and it was just terrified me, just the sound of this dog. And one day, I was walking back out to the car, and the dog had escaped, and it got out of the fence, and I can hear it, and I'm trying to run to the car so it can't get me, and I'm running, and I try, and I jump into the car, and I'm in the driver's seat, and the dog lurches forward at me, and he puts his head in my lap.
Oh.
So all of that fear that I had about this Doberman pinscher,
that
you know,
Doberman.
Right, I know, it just wanted love, and that's the case.
Thing. It's so sad. It's so sad when people tie dogs. I mean, why have a dog if you don't love it and you know, take advantage of the love that unconditional love that they're willing to give.
And I think that's true, Sonny, that a lot of times the missing element in all of these bad dogs, quote, bad dogs, is really love.
Oh, yeah.
They will do anything for their owners,
and another thing which you should never do, really, when a dog runs after you or you shouldn't run ahead and run faster, because then he thinks it's a game, you know.
Yes.
You should stand still and maybe call him or something and stand very still, not run away.
Right.
Yeah, because that makes, if the dog were bad, that would make it, you know, worse.
And I think there's another tip that we could share with our viewers today, and that is if your dog has run away, and it's a constant runaway, because Nicolette, when we first got her, she would run away like crazy.
Really?
And your inclination is to punish the dog when it comes to you.
Oh, you know, but that's wrong, because then they think you punish them because they come back.
That's right. So we don't want to ever make that mistake.
You have to make a big fuss when they come back.
Oh, yes, no matter how you're like, why did you do this?
I did that once with a dog I had at the beach, and it ran away. And then I was told that sometimes the sound of the waves and the ocean, if you call to them, it sounds like it's the opposite direction. And the dog kept running the opposite direction from where we were, and we were panic-struck because it got pretty soon out of reach for us to call him. And then some people realized we were, I mean, her was a girl, realized we tried her, and then they turned her around and she saw us and she came running back. And then when she came back, I yelled at her and I was mad, and then I was told, no, you should never do that. You have to say, good dog. You know?
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, right now, you were wonderful about inviting me to your house, and I have some beautiful tape of you with an interview that we did at your house. And I'd like to stop this one just a moment to share with our viewers you and your setting with your beautiful 4 dogs.
Thank you.
Actually, 3 dogs. One of them is a guest dog.
One of them is a guest.
So here we are at the home of Sony Shotland, and going to be talking about animals. Sony happens to be the grand maven here in the Hamptons and co-founded, one of the 3 co-founders for ARF. And today we're going to be listening to Sony.
Well, in 1974 there was a shelter. We co-founded in 1974, and it had a very bad reputation, and it had a lot of problems. And Cleveland Amory, I don't know if you've heard of him. He was a very big animal person, and he contacted 3 women out here whom he knew were interested in animal welfare. And he met us and put us together, and we tried to help this shelter in Sag Harbor. And they did not want our help, so he said, well, then you just have to form your own place, and that's how it started.
Wow. Now, you were with ARF for 30 years?
36 years.
36 years, my goodness.
From 1974 till just very recently.
Wow. And so now you're on a new mission.
Yeah, the town of Southampton had started an advisory committee on animal affairs, and they had asked us to, they had asked me to be on the board of that committee, and there were several other people, a local vet, and the lady who eventually privatized the shelter, and the Southampton Town Animal Shelter. And what had happened was everything went very well, and then suddenly there were budget problems, and they decided that it would be difficult to keep the Southampton Town Animal Shelter open. And they were going to close it as of the end of December. And this lady stepped up to the plate and said she would privatize it. And she asked me to join because she knew I had experience with, you know, the runnings of shelter. And I agreed, and that's how I left off and joined the Southampton Animal Shelter Foundation. That's what it's called now. And it's a beautiful place. I urge people to come and visit and adopt cats and dogs. Many, many, many nice animals.
They are. They're beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And everything is vet-checked and spayed and microchipped and vaccinated and neutered, everything, the works.
So tell me about your animals here.
My zoo. Well, they all came from ARF, of course.
Okay.
And the latest one, the last one that I got is the little Italian greyhound, and that's Bisou.
Bisou.
And
Hi,
he,
Bisou.
of course, like any puppy mill dog, was.
and you can look us up.
Thank you
And
very much.
Thank you.